The key difference between a good or a bad gameplay experience might consist in a powerful computer, a high refresh rate monitor, a good quality mouse, and so on. Well, it's not the case with Euro Truck Simulator 2. Sure, a high-end setup, the best PC specs, highest graphics settings, and the most expensive peripherals will matter with ETS2 as well, but the one thing that matters the most is the controller. In fact, you can run ETS2 on everything as long as you have the proper controller. It will make day and night difference between a realistic driving experience and an arcade truck sim gameplay. So, in today's video we'll rank the most common controllers for Euro Truck Simulator 2. The absolute worst controller is going to be the mouse. I used to play with mouse before getting a steering wheel, but now I realize it was the worst way to play ETS2. It seemed to be precise, but in fact it wasn't, because you cannot easily correct the direction at high speeds, and if you have to do a quick turn, your vehicle becomes uncontrollable. The second worst is going to be the keyboard controller. ETS2 offers quite okay keyboard support. It's decently precise, but it certainly has no driving feedback and it's fairly slow to respond. Next up on our list is any console controller with thumbsticks. With this kind, you can already start to be precise and have finer input, but still not that good for a driving game. But the biggest step for a driving game enthusiast is to get an actual steering wheel. Once you purchase your first steering wheel, you will never be able to play Euro Truck Simulator 2 with a keyboard again. It just makes a huge difference, but let's actually rank the steering wheel categories too, because there's also an immense difference between the cheaper ones and the premium steering wheels. The first category is going to be the cheap plastic 180 degrees spring-loaded steering wheels. This guy won't have any feedback except the centering spring and maybe a vibration motor. The worst thing about it is going to be the rotation angle. Even though you might somehow set it to be drivable, 180 degrees are still not going to be enough. The next step is the mid-range gear-driven steering wheels. They have a rotation angle of around 900 degrees, it has force feedback centering, and because of the high rotation angle, clutch pedal and shifter makes it a whole nother experience in ETS2. The bad thing about it consists in the gear-driven force feedback system. This kind of steering wheel has a quite clanky movement. You can literally feel and even hear those gears inside them. One step above in the market will solve this clanky feeling, but with the cost of high resistance feeling and pretty expensive price. I am talking about the belt-driven steering wheel. This one has a way better force feedback feeling, and because they are usually in the upper market, it will also have a slightly higher rotation angle, force feedback power and quality. It's already a decent steering wheel, but because it's so expensive, I think you will be better off going straight for the best of them all. The direct drive steering wheel. This kind of technology got more and more popular recently, and rightfully so, because it has the smoothest rotation without any unwanted resistance, the most powerful and detailed force feedback, the highest rotation angle, in fact it can be infinite, and thanks to the lack of many components, it's simpler and more reliable. This is achieved by having the steering wheel shaft directly fed into the force feedback motor. This way you won't rely on multiple gears or belts to transmit the force feedback forces from the motor to your steering wheel, thus making it smoother and more real vehicle-like. For example, it can have a fast centering without being extremely and unnecessarily heavy, and honestly, this is my favorite feature. I can set my rotation angle to 1800 degrees, tweak the force feedback to a quite fast centering, and still have a light servo direction feel. By the way, I am personally using the Moza R9 base. All the magic happens in this little object. So in conclusion, this is definitely the best type of controller for Euro Truck Simulator 2, especially if you add the Moza TSW steering wheel and truck wheel clamp to the setup. By the way, another huge benefit, you can quickly switch from a racing setup to a truck dedicated setup and further boost your trucking realism. Next step in improving my trucking sim experience is going to be the Moza multifunctional stocks. So if you want to see its review, you must subscribe to this channel and stay around for further videos. In the meantime, you can check my Moza TSW unboxing and review videos, links in the description.